Frida Kahlo is one of the most well-known female artists throughout history. But why? What is her story? Where did she come from, and how did her paintings influence a generation of women that followed her? Frida was born in Coyoacán, Mexico City, Mexico. Her father was a German photographer who immigrated to Mexico and then married her mother, who was half Amerindian and half Spanish. Her heritage was something that she was always intrigued by, and it helped influence her paintings. Early on in childhood, Frida suffered from illness and was diagnosed with polio at age 6. This left her mostly isolated while recovering. She did not get much time with other children, and it also left her physically disabled, causing her to have a limp while she walked. With this isolation, I think her father wanted her to become more interactive with students her age, and luckily she was enrolled at the German college in Mexico City, while her sisters had to go to a convent rather than attend a regular school. Frida had to leave the German college, unfortunately, due to a sexual abuse scandal, but then this led her to go to the National Preparatory School, where only 35 girls were admitted at the time. While in school, Frida became politically active and very interested in her Mexican culture. She became part of a small political group with a couple other students, and that only furthered her interest in politics and Mexican culture. Unfortunately, with one of the group members from school, Frida was on her way home on the bus and was involved in a serious accident that would have long-lasting effects on the rest of her life. Frida was bedridden for months and at one point was in a full body cast. This is when she began experimenting with small-scale paintings and her self-portraits. Her father had encouraged her to paint along with her mother, and they built her special easels that allowed her to paint while lying down. Frida eventually recovered enough and joined her old school friends again with their political group. This led her to join the Mexican Communist Party, where she met Diego Rivera and helped make connections with many other people that would influence her art and her life. Her work differed greatly than that of those around her, which were currently the Mexican muralists. The Mexican muralists promoted nationalism and pride through their artwork. They brought back the ideas of murals as a respectful art form and a communication tool for the common man to understand cultural identity, politics, oppression, and many other issues of the time. Frida tried to produce some work for the Communist Party, but it never seemed to fit quite right. All of her work focuses mostly on her identity, culturally and emotionally throughout her life. She portrays her struggles to balance the idea of being a lover, friend, wife, and artist through her work. Frida is usually the main subject of her work, and she focuses on the emotions and hardships she's endured throughout her life. Frida brought to light that women may also feel melancholy and sad at times, while a man was usually the only one portrayed as feeling those ways. She helped people understand that women do not always need to be labeled as depressed or manic. She shared her raw and vulnerable feelings with the public through her work. Frida made it more comfortable for women to outwardly share their pain and frustration with the world. She paved the way for many women after her to be aware of their own identities and feelings and know that they are valid.